Hi guys, this is CfA Level 1 Economics, Chapter number 1, Demand and Supply Analysis and Introduction. My name is Ch.imranahsen. Okay, introduction. We are studying economics at two levels, microeconomics and macroeconomics. Let's see what these two means. In microeconomics, we study economics at very small level. For example, individual level. Uh, when a firm is making decision, an individual is making decision, any person, any household is making decision, that is micro level. Macroeconomics. In macroeconomics, we study economics as a whole. For example, how collectively different economic agents behave. For example, we when all the people how they are making decisions, all the firms in a specific industry are making decisions, how economy is going and in which direction it is going. Main issues of macroeconomics are national income, unemployment, inflation, etc. Okay, types of markets. There is a factor market for which we study the factors of production. The factor of productions are the elements or inputs to production. Factor markets includes labor markets, capital market, or anything else like land, organization. Okay. Second is goods market. Goods markets are for the output or production. The output or production are goods and services which may be intermediate goods, and services are final goods and services or can be in between. Intermediate goods are those goods which need to be processed further. They are in raw form. Final goods are those which are ready to use for capital or consumer purposes, and in between means those are semi-processed goods. Okay, capital market. Capital market serve as a source of for provider of capital. For example, funding or savers. Savers provide funding to exchange their capital for long-term claims on a firm cash flow and assets, and also debt and equity securities. So we have two types of funding. One is equity and second is debt. Okay, basic principles. This is the simplest concept, hence very important concept for economics. The demand and supply. Demand means willingness and ability to purchase a good or service at a given price. When we buy, we want to buy and we have purchasing power to buy. We combinedly said this is a demand. Supply means willingness of sellers to offer goods or services for a given price. When sellers are willing to sell their products at some specific price, that is called supply. Demand function. Demand function is QDX, means we have a demand for X is a function of price of X, its own price, income of consumer, and price of other goods, etc. QD of X is quantity demand of good X, P of X is the price of good X, I is consumer income, V of Y is price of good Y. In equilibrium form, QD of X is equal to intercept minus sensitivity to its own price into P of X plus sensitivity towards income into income minus sensitivity to price of good Y into price of Y. Here is intercept means when we have zero price and zero sensitivity towards income and zero sensitivity towards other prices, then at least we have some minimum level of consumption which is needed to live life. Okay, negative sign here. Negative sign shows when the price of X is it's is negative related to its own demand. Income is positive related, and other income, other goods, price of other goods is also negatively related. Demand curve depicts the quantity demanded for each price, and graph demand inverse relationship between price and quantity demand. In supply function, QD of x, Q of Sx is a function of price of Sx into or and wages rate. Qs of x is the quantity supplied of the good x. P of x is the price of good x. W is the wage rate paid to the labor. In equation, Qx S is equal to intercept plus sensitivity to its own price into P of x minus wage sensitivity into wage rate. Here we have positive relationship between supply and its own price. It means when we have more price, we want to sell more. Negative relationship between wage rate and quantity supply means when we have to hire a labor at very higher price, we want to sell less. Quantity supply curve depicts the quantity producers are willing to supply at each price, lower the price except for each quantity or lowest price. The law of supply, a positive relationship between price and quantity, that is again the main concept, means when we got higher prices, we sell more. Changes and movements in demand and supply. When we have when we are going to when we see there is a change in the price of on price, that is movement along the curve. For example, we have this scene, and when there is a change in other goods, then we have shift in the demand curve. Same is the case with the supply. When we have change in the prices of supply in our own price, then we have movement, we are moving along this curve. But when we there is a change in the price of other things, or other things are going to change, for example wage rate or cost of production, then we move and we shift supply come from here to here. Aggregate supply and demand curves. When we add up all the demand curves, individual demand curves, that is called aggregate demand curve. And when we are going to add individual supply curves, that is called aggregate supply curves. Market equilibrium is a situation in which the quantity demanded is equal to quantity supplied at some specific price. When demand and supply equals to each other, that is called equilibrium level. Attaining equilibrium. How we are going to attain the equilibrium level? Solving for equilibrium price or quantity requires setting the demand function equal to supply function and then solving. We can specify functions in terms of variables that model behavior, hence behavior equations are in terms of variables that on price. For example, we are having, in simplest words, we are having QD of x is equal to QS of x. Here we go. A stable equilibrium occurs when the price adjusts so that the demand should be equal to supply. An unstable equilibrium occurs when the demand or supply curves are such that upward change of price does not reduce excess demand. Functions of demand and supply. Consider an individual demand curve. QD of x is equal to 25 minus 10p of x. 25 is intercept, minus sign shows negative relationship, 10 is the price sensitivity, and price of x means its own price. This means that if the price is equal to 0.5 euro, the quantity demanded is 24.5 units. When we put it 0.5 here, we got QD of x is equal to 24.5 units. The inverse demand curve is the price as function of the quantity demanded. When we solve it for P of x, then we have P of x is equal to 2.5 minus 10.1 Q d of x. This means that the quantity demand of 100 units, the price is 15 euro. This is the other way around. Consider a firm supply curve is Q S of x is equal to 5 plus 10 P of x. This means that if the quantity supplied is 10 units, the price is 15 euro. The inverse supply curve again is the supply curve in form of price of x is equal to minus 0.5 plus 0.10 qs of x. This means that if the quantity supplied is 10, the price required is 1.5 euro. Aggregate supply and demand. The aggregate demand curve is the total quantity of goods that we demanded at each price. The aggregate supply curve is the total quantity of goods that we produced for each level price. We calculate the aggregate supply curve by adding up all the sellers are willing to sell. We have talked about it before. If the aggregate demand curve is Qd of x is equal to 25 minus 10 P of x, and aggregate supply curve is Qs of x is equal to 5 plus 10 P of x, then we calculate by equating these two, and we have the equilibrium price is 1 pound and equilibrium quantity is 15. Excess supply and demand. When we have higher, we are getting higher than the equilibrium level or below the equilibrium level, we have excess supply or demand. Let's see. If the price of good is not in equilibrium, we calculate the excess supply or demand. Consider the last example. We have Qd of x is equal to 25 minus 10p, and same is the supply case. The equilibrium price is 1 euro, we know, but if we put 1.5 instead of 1, we can have Qd of x is 10 and Qs of s is 20 units. It means we are having excess supply of 10 units. But if we put a lower price than 1 euro, 0.5 euro instead, then we are having more demand than supply. So we are having excess demand. Okay. Okay. I think we should stop here. For our next videos, subscribe to our channel and see what is coming in our next videos. Thank you, and be patient and practice more. Thank you for watching.